I'm John Spooner, retired CAL FIRE captain, and I currently work as the program manager for the local CERT program. CERT is the Community Emergency Response Team. There are about 3 active programs, and there might be another one that's not active in the southern part of the county. There's Estero Bay and Cambria and the North San Luis Obispo County CERT programs. Fire and Emergency Services sponsors the CERT program here in the county. CERT is a nationwide program. They're active throughout the United States, and they work to educate citizens on how to prepare for, survive, and then respond to and recover from various disasters and emergencies. And CERT teams have worked on hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, just a whole list of the many different disasters that we have nowadays. When Paradise burned in Northern California, CERT teams were requested to go up there and assist with the aftermath of that wildfire. So here locally, the local fire department sponsors our program, and then we work with the Sheriff's Advisory Foundation in terms of funding. They manage the money basically for our program. What we want to do, first of all, in North County is create an awareness among the people who live here as to what the hazards are, primarily wildland fire, but also earthquakes and floods. And on the coastal area, we also have the possibility of tsunamis. So we initially want to educate people, make them aware of those hazards and what they can do to prepare for them, how to mitigate them, how to survive them, and then respond in terms of medical aid to members of their family that might be injured, or on another level, expand that response to their neighborhood, actually look for other people in the neighborhood that might be hurt or need assistance. And then there's also a third level of service that CERT members can fill, which is a national response. So if there's a tornado in Chattanooga, Tennessee or something like that, and a request goes out, the team members here could respond to that disaster in the east side of the United States. Okay, so if someone wants to become involved with CERT, they need to initially take the basic training class. We offer that twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And it's a 20-hour, 24-hour course where we cover things like how to use a fire extinguisher, the organization of CERT and using the incident command system, which is the same system that fire departments use, law enforcement agencies use, the government uses it when they respond to disasters. It basically is a management structure for disasters. We do medical aid training. We do talk about the psychology of disaster, because disasters very severely affect people who are affected by disasters, and the work that CERT people do can also affect the CERT members. Sometimes they're left with some very vivid, unpleasant images, and we have to be sure that we take care of them in terms of their mental health. And then we also talk about terrorism, which is becoming more and more prevalent in the United States, both not so much foreign terrorists, but domestic terrorism, active shooters and things like that. We can create an awareness in the community of the types of disasters that we need to prepare for, and also explain to the public how they can prepare for them. A little bit of training goes a long way, and it could keep somebody from becoming a victim in a disaster, and instead of that, they could be a helper or an assistant with the first responders in that disaster. It's always better to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. So we have several major topics we want to cover in the Safety Fest with the public. We want to cover notifications. We want to talk about what you should do to prepare yourself, a go bag, for example, the contents of it. The folks can come to the Safety Fest and get a list of what should go in their go bag if they have to evacuate. How to prepare your home. We have a whole program going on the west side of Paso Robles that CERT is assisting in. It's actually the Paso City Fire and Emergency Services program, but CERT is assisting in it, staffing wise, and we're showing people how to prepare their neighborhood and their homes for wildfire to lessen the chance that their house would burn. So that's kind of an exciting opportunity for us. In the Safety Fest, there are some sponsors and some funds generated from that, and CERT will be a beneficiary of some of those monies. We have a very aggressive training program, and we need things like training mannequins, we need radios, we need supplies, medical supplies for training, and we also have to train our people, our instructors, and those classes are offered through FEMA, so there's a cost to us for that. And this is just simply one of the ways that we can propel the program, keep it growing, and maintain an activity in the north part of the San Luis County. So at the Safety Fest, we're going to have some opportunities for a wide variety of people to become involved in the CERT program. First of all, we're going to promote our CERT basic class, which is coming up in October. Hopefully we can fill that class with about 40 people. We also have coming up a Listos class, which is Spanish for ready. And that class is a shortened version, essentially, of the CERT basic class. It's only 8 hours, and that will be offered probably in September. Probably next year, we're going to be looking at a teen CERT program to involve younger people in the program. You can't start too young in educating children about disasters. It readies them for the possibility of wildfire. For example, we recommend that you practice evacuating from a wildfire, and if you do that with your children, their anxiety is lessened in the event they actually do have to go out and evacuate from a wildfire. Okay, they're more prepared for it. They understand it. And then children these days are incredibly smart, and they will oftentimes prompt their parents about things that need to be done. For example, changing batteries in your smoke detector if you still have the old style smoke detectors and things like that. So the children will have an opportunity to draw an evacuation plan from their home at the Safety Fest. They'll have a chance to learn about smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, and things like that. And then they can remind their parents that they need to know those things too. So we're going to offer several classes over the next 2 years. CERT Basic, as I said, is offered 2 times each year, once in the spring and once in the fall. We also have a class that we teach in traffic and crowd management. This class is primarily designed to manage those things in an emergency. For example, if there's an evacuation and certain roads are closed, CERT people can staff those traffic control points, releasing law enforcement to actually go do the evacuation notifications. We also offer a flood response class where we talk about all of the necessary things about filling sandbags, how to stack them, things like that. But we focus mostly on the logistical support for the other people who are doing that. And we're more into observing and reporting what's going on. We would patrol levees. We would watch gauging stations and report to the Emergency Command Center the results of our observations. We also have some medical classes. In the next 2 years, we'll be offering a CPR class, both the responder level and then just the hands-only CPR. And then we also are going to offer a class to prepare your small pets for evacuation. And we'll give the folks some tips about what they need to have with them, some cautions. For example, in the evacuation, you go to a destination, which may be a shelter, but a shelter may not accept a pet unless the owner has with them shot records, proof of ownership, and things like that too. So that'll be covered in the class. The other class that we're offering is the traffic and crowd management class. And this is an important class in an emergency because the CERT people, the trained CERT people, can go to traffic control points where roads are closed and relieve law enforcement from their obligation there so that they can go and actually do the evacuations. A side benefit of that class is that in order to practice and maintain proficiency on traffic and crowd management, the CERT team will work with the city, for example, with Paso downtown Main Street on events, parades, large events, things like that. And we will work just like we were on an incident to manage traffic, maybe a parking detail, maybe just the flow of traffic, and then also crowd management where we have maybe control points, and then we observe and report any unusual activity. So I'm often asked about the CERT program, how it came about, and why it's important. It came about down in the Los Angeles area back in the 70s when there were some large disasters, wildfires and earthquakes. And the local fire departments down there realized that they could not respond enough resources quickly enough to the people who were injured or affected by the disaster. So the CERT program was developed and eventually adopted by FEMA and developed even more after that. And it is in a big part an education program to help people understand disasters and how to prepare for them. It also is a workforce that can help prepare a community for disaster. For example, in our area, wildfire is one of our biggest threats. And the CERT program can work on vegetation reduction projects, can work on hardening the home projects, can work on services to help infirm people evacuate who couldn't otherwise leave their homes during a wildfire. And then it also provides a knowledgeable body of people who can respond when the other emergency services are overwhelmed in a big disaster. So the CERT people may be the first responders in their neighborhood to injuries or electrical problems or gas issues or something like that. So in my mind, the CERT program is a vital program. It's a lot like CPR. The more people who know CPR, the better the odds are that a heart attack victim will survive. Same thing with CERT. The more people who are trained through CERT, the more likely that community will survive a major disaster. So there's more information available on our website, and it has information on it about our training schedule. It has information on it about the CERT program, and it has current information about perhaps, for example, seasonal issues that need to be known about and prepared for. So investigate that, and then we hope to see you at a CERT basic class in the near future. I look forward to seeing you at the Safety Fest in the park downtown on August 20th. We really appreciate all of the support from the sponsors, the exhibitors, and all of the volunteers that participate in Safety Fest. This activity truly will benefit our community.